Each week on Ozarks News Journal, we will put someone on the hot seat. In this segment, we'll take a topic of debate and let someone with in-depth knowledge of the subject offer his or her opinion, followed by a short question and answer session. This week, we're talking with Jess Rollins. Jess is a senior here at Missouri State and has some definite opinions about the possibility of Missouri State University becoming a smoke-free campus. Jess, take it away.
Thanks, Katie. As a smoker, I can tell you that there are only a few places left in town to enjoy a cigarette. A few bars, fewer restaurants, and the great outdoors, as long as it's 50 feet away from entrances. Although some of these rules seem excessive, I accept them as legitimate concerns for public health, but there is a limit to what I would consider reasonable concern. A new smoking committee appointed by President Nitzel is considering significant changes in the current smoking policy, and the possibility of making campus smoke-free is still very much on the table. I can understand the need to limit the dangers of secondhand smoke. I might even support such a change, but let's not be unreasonable. A 225-acre campus could easily segregate people who choose to smoke from people who don't. There are enough nooks and crannies on campus to designate convenient smoking areas. Also, keeping a campus smoke-free would be a futile enterprise. Smokers would still smoke on campus because they could get away with it. I know I would. At best, we could only claim to be a smoke-free campus. For what it's worth, my recommendation to the committee and to the president would be to find ways to protect people from secondhand smoke while leaving alone the ones who want it firsthand.
All right, time for some questions.
With the current trend going toward a more smoke-free environment, both on campuses and in businesses, don't you think going smoke-free is inevitable?
Sure, I can see that, and it's a good point, but I think it's about accommodation. I think that sometimes if we can allow for people to make their own decisions, then it's in the best interest of everyone.
Okay. Well, have you been to a smoke-free campus? I mean, is it going to work at all, even if this policy does go through?
I think it's unlikely that people will give up smoking completely. Whenever it's a 225-acre campus, I think it's very easily for people to just, be able to get away with it. There's not always going to be a security guard standing over them making sure that they don't smoke on campus.
So do you think there should be more teeth behind the policy?
No, I think there should be. I think that if we designate smoking areas, then people will be more likely to use a smoking area, whereas people would just not really pay attention much, I don't think, to an entire campus-wide policy.
Can you explain to us a little bit about how you foresee these designated smoking areas happening?
Right, and like I said, I'm not totally against them sectioning off areas for us to smoke on campus. And there's lots of places. There's a place behind Meyer Library where there's several picnic tables set up that people could easily, in between class, not have to leave campus to go and smoke, and people don't walk by there all the time. And there's another place I can think of behind Pummel where there's just a nice little setup with a park bench or whatever where people can smoke. And I think that's a fair and even-handed way for people to be separated if they don't want the secondhand smoke.
Well, and you're talking about your right to keep your ability to smoke on campus. How do you feel about those people that are non-smokers, that are legitimate non-smokers who have health concerns? How do you feel about that?
Exactly. I mean, I think that it makes both parties happy. If we can segregate a place for everyone who wants to smoke to be separate, yet on a 225-acre campus, there is enough leeway for us to be in one place and smoke to separate people walking in between classes.
But you're talking about a busy campus with lots of people on it, and you're also saying that at the same time you would not be held to those designated smoking areas either. So do you think that there's still a possibility that the non-smokers' rights could be infringed upon even with that policy in place?
I mean, there's always a possibility that people, would feel that they would walk by a smoking area, and but I mean, those are the setups that we could have in place to make sure that the smoking areas are clearly separated from other areas of campus and people walking. And I get annoyed by, people walking to class in a heavy populated area and smoking, and I'm a smoker. So I understand that point of view completely. But I don't understand the point of view that you should have to leave a campus the size of ours, completely leave the grounds to be able to enjoy a cigarette.
Okay, so if this does become a smoke-free campus, you yourself said, you'd light up anyways. What can we do to inform smokers that people's rights are infringed upon who don't smoke?
Well, I think smokers know that the smoke that they exhale doesn't go, a mile down the road or whatever. So I don't think you're going to be able to talk smokers into not smoking on campus at all, especially when they are separated from the rest of the student body.
Okay, well, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you, Jess. Your voice has definitely been heard. Coming up on Ozarks News Journal, I'll take you to a town on the comeback trail after being devastated by a deadly tornado. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Throughout the next several months, our own Philip Pulliam will be putting on his backpack and heading into the Ozarks to visit with some of the most interesting and inspiring people and places. Because he'll be someplace different each time, we're calling this segment Somewhere in the Ozarks. Philip, tell us a little about your first stop.
Thanks, Katie. In a matter of seconds, this small community's high school was left in pieces on the ground. Well, just as quickly, the community joined together to pick up those pieces and start again.
I was terrified.
There was a huge noise, and then I just remember looking back and I could see through the Spanish room. The roof had been ripped off.
I mean, it was my students. We were in that hallway, right where the roof came off, and and my student teacher jumped on top of my daughter, and the kids, there was a lot of screaming.
And in a matter of a few short moments, May 8th, 2009 became the last day of the Fairgrove school year.
Part of the bleachers got tore off, and then the weight room got destroyed, and the whole front wall caved in.
That's when the people living in this small community came together with one important goal: to rebuild even stronger than before.
There was a lot of people that came up to the high school and asking if they needed help to clean up anything, and I actually think that they had to start turning people away because they had so many people.
At our house, we had a group of workers come out and help us pick up all of our damage and everything, which was really, it helped us a lot. It would have taken us weeks or maybe months to do, but they got it done in one day, and so it was really neat to see it.
I was going home, and you would see houses and you would think, are there people in there? They have trees all around their house. Can they even get out? And you could see people going from one house, walking from one house to another, maybe to check on a neighbor. And I think that sense of community, that strength that comes from not one, but all of us together, that just made a phenomenal difference here.
Brick by brick and limb by limb, Fairgrove continues to press forward with hope that their children can move on without fear. But never forget the important lessons learned that day. Lessons not found in any textbook.
People can band together, that they can make a difference, that they can take care of one another, and that they can get through.
To me, there's like a form of respect that I have, even for maybe if there's like a certain person that I don't like as much. We were all kind of there for each other that day. It's just like a different level that I don't think everyone can understand until you go through something like that you're just there for them and you realize that it's just a person and you put everything else aside.
I'm Philip Pulliam, coming to you from somewhere in the Ozarks.
This wasn't Fairgrove's first run-in with Mother Nature. Only 1 year earlier, their elementary school was also damaged by strong winds. Crews are working hard to piece everything back together in time for a full reveal by early spring. Now, if you'd like your community to be featured as part of Somewhere in the Ozarks segment, contact me at 417-836-8891. We hope to see you soon.
And finally today, our clip of the week. This one coming from YouTube. Let's take a look at this shot.
Welcome to
All right, I think he's going to attempt to make this basket.
Oh, there's no way.
Oh, let's.
What?
And
He actually sunk that
goodness.
basket. That's insane. That's
They're extremely happy, and I would be too. That's incredible.
Can you imagine making that shot? World's longest basket, did it say?
And he's lucky that I wasn't there. I'd probably show him up.
Please, would you love to follow him up in a game of pig? Well, that's all for this edition of Ozarks News Journal. Join us here next time for more in-depth news about Southwest Missouri. I'm Philip Pulliam.
And I'm Katie Reed. Have a great day, Missouri.